With the Giants having submitted their initial 53-man roster, we now turn our attention to the waiver wire. And according to Connor Hughes, who covers the New York Giants for SNY, he says that Joe Schoen and the New York Giants are expected to be very aggressive when it comes to adding talented players in the waiver wire that kicks off tomorrow. I've got 3 players I think the Giants could target, then a list of other players that might be on their list. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. This is video number 3 of the day. We put out free, informative, entertaining updates every single day. So if you love the Giants, hit the subscribe button. And if you also love winning, hit the subscribe button, because we're going to take down Minnesota Vikings Now, a.k.a. 0-1 Vikings Now, another NFL channel hosted by my guy Patrick Seatman here at Chat Sports, and he thinks that they are going to win. That ain't happening. So subscribe and turn your notifications on. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. The Giants have the 6th spot in the waiver wire that will open up tomorrow at noon Eastern time. At noon, at 12:01, we will know who the New York Giants, A, put a waiver claim in for, and B, who they were awarded in the waiver wire. With the 6th selection, that means that when the Giants are on the clock, they can add as many people as they want. It's not like a snake draft in your fantasy league where you pick at 6th, then you got to wait for the draft to come around. You will submit all of the waiver wire picks that you have at pick 6, and if they have been unclaimed, you will be awarded all of them. And we've seen Joe Schoen in the past be very aggressive in the waiver wire before. Let's turn the clock back to 2022 when he was first named the general manager of the New York Giants. And in his first season, in that position, he went out and made 2 waiver claims that are still on this roster and are going to be starters. Jason Pinnock from the New York Jets and Nick McLeod from the Buffalo Bills. So we've seen Joe be active and aggressive and hit on former waiver wire pickups. And I expect for him to do that again tomorrow. Some important information, because I feel like some people don't always know this, but I'm just going to pass along the information. If you claim someone in the waiver wire, you pick them up on the contract they were on before being waived. For instance, let's say the Giants go out and they claim Lewis Cine, right? Lewis Cine is still on that rookie contract from when he was selected in the first round, meaning the Giants would have to pick up the rest of that contract. And that will be something to monitor, as the Giants have $13 million in cap space, and they have to be decisive on where they want to spend that money. Something to keep in the back of your mind as the waiver wires are going to get rolling tomorrow. I expect the Giants to look at the cornerback position as well as the safety position. We've talked at length on this channel on how they need to upgrade the corner position. If I were to guess, I guess you could say, any other positions they look at, it's a punt returner, as Gunnar Olszewski is dealing with an injury and they waived Isaiah McKenzie, and maybe another quarterback, as something interesting with Tommy DeVito happened. The media requested to speak to him today, and the Giants did not make him available. We'll try to keep you up to date on that. But the corner depth chart needs to be added. There needs to be an infusion of elite talent at this spot. Yes, you have Deonte Banks, but after that, it's a lot of question marks. I don't know if Cordell Flott's that guy. Drew Phillips is a rookie. He's unproven. Trey Hawkins showed me he's not ready to play. Maybe another year of growth, and he will be that guy. And Nick McLeod is a great 3rd or 4th corner on the team. I don't want him as my starting boundary corner, which he might be if Flott is still sidelined with that leg injury. At the safety spot, you really only kept 3 guys. I included Isaiah Simmons in the safety depth chart because I don't really know what to classify him at. I don't know what position to call him. Is he a safety? Is he a corner? Is he a linebacker? He's going to be playing all over. But you only really have 3 prototypical safeties on this roster with Pinnock, Newman, and Belton, and obviously still Javarius Owens, his time with the Giants being in limbo, as nobody really knows what's going on with him. But I expect he was cut, as he was the 54th player at the practice field today who was called back inside the building. So let's talk about some guys that they could look to target. And I'm going to have a focus on corners and safeties. Then we'll show you some other positions a little bit later in the video. CJ Henderson is a guy, I don't want to say the guy, a guy I expect the Giants to be interested in. Remember, he was the number 9 first-round pick in the 2020 NFL draft by, was it Carolina Panthers? Jacksonville Jaguars, then spent time with the Carolina Panthers, and then was most recently with the Houston Texans, where he was waived. 6'1", 204 pounds. Look, his NFL career has not gone the way that it has, but we can all acknowledge, being a first-round pick, there is some talent there. And maybe Joe Schoen, Jerome Henderson, and the rest of this Giants staff see something in him. They probably go back to their evaluation of that draft and see if he is that guy. Because when you put on the tape, there's not a lot to love. I'm just not ready to give up on a guy that was selected in the first round just 4 seasons ago, especially when you talk about a Giants corner depth chart that lacks elite talent. You look at his Pro Football Focus grades throughout his career, not all that great, right? Never being graded out above a 58.3 in coverage, never being graded out above a 57.9 in overall defense. But maybe in the right scheme, in this Shane Bowen defense, learning from Henderson, he could turn his career around. I'll bet on talent any day of the week, and if I can claim CJ Henderson, I think I would put at least a claim in there for him. I also think Lewis Cine is going to be a guy that's at the top of the list for the New York Football Giants. Look, the Giants, we talked about it, they kept just 3 safeties. If you want to include Isaiah Simmons, we'll call it 4. But Cine, like Henderson, was a first-round pick. Remember, the Vikings drafted him number 32 overall in the 2022 NFL Draft. Unlike Henderson, the talent hasn't been the issue. It's the injuries. Remember that game 2 years ago overseas? He had that compound leg fracture. He just really hasn't been given a chance outside of that. And I talked to Patrick Seaman, former producer of the show, and he's like, I still believe in him. We being the Vikings, what he told me, we're kind of stacked at that safety spot. And with the limited production, it just really comes down to he hasn't been really given a chance. He's got 10 total defensive snaps, 1 tackle, but 110 special team snaps. And I think that's something that's going to be very attractive for Joe Schoen. He's only been active in 3 games in 2023. But the way that he played against the Cleveland Browns in that Week 2 preseason game, he looked like a guy that was selected in the first round. He played almost the entire game for Minnesota, and he was all over the football field. 11 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, a pass breakup, 2 QB hits, and an INT. And as we know, Shane Bowen likes to run a defense with a lot of DBs on the field. He ran the dime defense package at a 24% clip with the Tennessee Titans. That's 6 DBs on the field. That's the second most in the NFL. He ran that package. And Cine is a guy that can play a little free safety. He can play that strong safety, but he's really best at playing closer to the line of scrimmage. He can stop the run. He can help you support when it comes to run stopping. And I think that will make him very attractive to the Giants. Maybe you roll out Nubin, Pinnock, and Cine, and you also get a special teams guy. Cine is someone I really want the Giants to look at. We've got another first-round pick that plays the corner position to talk about. And then we got a kick returner and a couple of other players. But first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, Game Time. If you're looking to buy tickets to a Giants game this year, or you want to catch the Yankees or Mets before the baseball season's over, or there's a concert, theater event, or comedy show you're looking to go to, get your tickets with Game Time. And if you use the promo code ChatSports, you're going to save $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Game Time is the best app in the game. You get best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Prices actually drop as the events get closer. So if you're a procrastinator like I am, Game Time is the app for you. Last-minute tickets and flash deals. The app is literally going to alert you when the best deal is going on for those tickets. And oh yeah, you get the lowest price guaranteed. Go catch a Giants game this year. Do it early in the season, maybe week 1, week 2, because those are 2 winnable football games. But do it in the app with the all-in pricing. That way the price you see is the price you pay. No one likes getting hit with hidden fees when you get to checkout, and Game Time, they make sure that does not happen. So download the app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports, that's ChatSports, and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. What time is it? It's Game Time, baby. Download the Game Time app, support the show, support the sponsor, promo code ChatSports, save yourself $20, and then maybe go buy a hot dog and a Coke at the game. The player that I think might be most likely to join the New York Giants, it may not be in the waiver wire due to the contract he's on since he was a first-round pick, but the connection. Caleb Farley, former first-round pick, whole career with the Tennessee Titans. Still young. He was a 2021 NFL draft pick, and he was the number 22 overall selection. But in 2021, 2022, 2023, who was his defensive coordinator? Shane Bowen. Who is now the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants? Shane Bowen. And unless Caleb Farley pissed off Shane Bowen, or Bowen doesn't believe in him, I have a hard time imagining that Bowen and Shane and everybody right now aren't talking about, yo, should we go with Caleb Farley? Yes, the injuries have derailed his career, which is sad because coming out of Tech, he was someone that I loved as a prospect. He's a sticky corner, or at least he was, and he did really well in coverage. But he's had some serious injuries. He's dealing with a hamstring right now, but he's healthy, according to the people that I talked to that cover the Titans. But he's had a back injury. He's had some lower leg injuries, and that's what's ultimately led him to just playing 12 games in the NFL, not even playing in the 2023 season. I'm not going to take anything away from the stats. I'm going to go back to the tape that I watched when he entered the National Football League. Thought he was a pretty damn good prospect. There's a reason he went in the draft where he did. He was awesome at Virginia Tech. But the medicals were always a concern, and maybe they still are as he has missed a lot of time. But, man, where the Giants are at, they are desperate for talent. And Caleb Farley, he's got a lot of it. Can he stay healthy? Who knows? But he's someone I know the Giants are going to look at and are probably already talking about as an option to pick up in the waiver wire or wait till he becomes an unrestricted free agent. If you had to pick one of the three guys that we talked about on today's show to sign, who would it be? Is it Caleb Farley, the corner, Lewis Cine, the safety, or CJ Henderson, the other corner? Let me know your thoughts. Look, I'm fine with any of those three guys. I wouldn't mind claiming all three of them because I'll tell you this much. Both those corners, they have higher upside than a lot of other corners on this team. But if I had to pick one, it would be Lewis Cine because I think the injury he suffered, like compound fracture, that's crazy, right? But I'd rather it be a broken bone than a torn ligament or a back injury. And we saw most recently in week 2 of the preseason, the dude can still hoop. And the Giants, they also could use another safety and a guy that produces on special teams. Some other waiver wire targets I would just keep your nose to the ground on. Dwayne Eskridge, he was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks a couple of years ago. The Giants would look at him as a punt returner. Yes, Gunnar Olszewski's on this team, but he is dealing with an injury, and I could see them wanting to add another punt returner that could play the wide receiver position. Rudy Ford is someone that I've always thought is a really good player in this league. Had some really splash games last year for the Green Bay Packers. Has had some injury history, but he is a good football player. And then Stephen Gilmore, brother of Stephon Gilmore. Remember, the Giants, you guys played for the Lions. I don't know if you could tell by the logo on his Scully, but the Giants, they had joint practices with the Lions this year. They supposedly really liked him last year during joint practices. Didn't work out. They kept him. They cut him this year. You got an up-close person to look at him this offseason. Maybe it's enough to make them a very interested team to claim the player in the waiver wire. Make sure you are following me on social media because if the Giants claim anybody tomorrow, the first place you're going to hear about it is on my Twitter and on my Instagram. So hit me up over there, give me a follow, and let's talk some basketball. That doesn't make sense. Let's talk some football.